Okay, it's time to talk about heat flow. So are you ready? All right, here are our standards objectives. Pause it, peruse it if you want. All right, so what is thermal energy? Thermal energy is energy that has to do with the movement of particles. So we can see thermal energy with specific kinds of lenses. But an important thing about thermal energy, it depends on mass also. So if we talk about comparing an iceberg, which is very massive, very large, and a cup of hot coffee, at first glance, you might say that the hot coffee has more thermal energy because its temperature is higher. But because there are so many more particles in the iceberg, and those particles are still moving, the iceberg is going to have more thermal energy. So if we have a cup of hot water and a bathtub filled with cold water, the bathtub filled with cold water is going to have more thermal energy, simply more particles. All right, so what is heat? Well, heat is a form of energy that flows between two samples of matter based on their differences in temperature. So it's exchanging thermal energy, but due to a temperature difference, okay? So there's a flow of energy because of a difference in temperature. If everything is the same temperature, we can't have a flow of heat. We can't have that movement. Heat will flow between objects until the temperatures are the same. So heat will flow from the object that has higher temperature to the object that has lower temperature until they reach a temperature between the two of them, and then the heat will no longer flow. Okay, so heat will flow from warm object to cold object. So if one object is 10 degrees and one object is 20 degrees, it will go from the 20-degree object to the 10-degree object. So heat always flows from warmer to colder until those temperatures are equalized. Okay, so what is temperature? Well, I've mentioned it a few times. Temperature is a measure of the average kinetic energy of the particles in a substance. So kinetic energy is motion. So the faster the particles are moving, the more kinetic energy they have, the higher the temperature. Okay, so what is the difference between heat and temperature? Temperature is a measure of the average kinetic energy, and heat is a flow of energy due to the temperature difference. Okay, so heat is a form of energy that flows from warmer to colder. It's measured in joules, so it flows from hot to cold. Temperature is like a measure of the average kinetic energy. It's how hot or how cold something is, and it's related to the motion of the particles. Okay, as we heat something up, the particles move faster, the temperature increases. And temperature is measured in Kelvin or in Celsius. And there you have it. That's heat flow in gases. I hope you learned something new today.